Sure. So my name's Sophia, and I'm from the UK, but I've been living in Copenhagen for a couple years. And so I run a channel called Vegan Watching. So I started this a couple years ago, and it was basically because I've personally been following a plant-based diet for it's going to be 9 years this week, actually. So I started in that way, and I was kind of interviewing people and kind of sharing the lifestyle and trying to do motivational. And then I actually took a hiatus for a couple years doing my studies. So I studied biology, and I was doing that in my master's degree. So I took a break. And then actually when COVID happened, I decided, oh wow, I really miss making videos. And so I restarted doing that. Yeah, so my channel is called Vegan Watching, and I'd say that it's kind of splits into two parts. So it's me as a vegan and watching things. So I do a popular, uh, um, so I do a series called Lessons of Life and Love, where I delve into popular TV shows and movies and see what lessons we can learn from them. So I'll take sort of a film and I'll break down sort of lessons from relationships or life, motivational sort of inspirational content. And this is with my voiceover. At the same time, due to my background in biology, I also do sort of health science videos following a plant-based diet. So some popular videos I've done have been, for instance, on nutrition or weight loss. So I'd say my channels kind of following those kind of two streams. Yeah, it's interesting. That one really sort of took off. I think one of the strong points was that I kind of try to pinpoint the two different perspectives. So I kind of started with the split screen. And what I found through making videos, it's very important to kind of hook them right at the start. So I like to pose a question or kind of delve into something that I'm really paying attention to what will engage them. Because also if you're doing an essay and you're kind of generally recapping information people have heard, then it doesn't really pull it. So what I tried to do was first I start off with that kind of split screen, then I kind of go into, okay, this is the lessons, but then I also take something that is universally of interest to people, and that's actually signs of attraction and relationships. And that's what people, so I do kind of a quick take on that. And then only later, so I try and in the first third kind of really capture attention. And then later on, I really delve into more of the details and kind of breaking down the relationship. But by this point, a lot of the people are already kind of engaged with what's going on. So I think, especially when you're making content, it's very important to kind of think about what you want to say and then break it down. And how I do it is I write the scripts beforehand. So I spend quite a lot of time writing these essays, and I usually, I cover main points, and then I usually think about, okay, what, as a viewer or a potential viewer in their eyes, like what would be the most kind of thing of interest to them, what will be applicable and relatable. And then I try and always structure the video so that's at the key. And that's how I always, and of course I have to adapt given to the content. So in this case, they have a sort of tumultuous relationship, they're not communicating well. But that's something that a lot of people experience, and that's why I think it also struck a nerve, because it's something, they're like, oh, why, they can learn through these characters. Well, so what I found is a lot, of course, focusing a lot on facial expressions. So sometimes I found, because I'm taking, for instance, films or videos, I kind of depend on the stills from these productions. So sometimes if it's like an older film, sometimes I can't get the great imagery. But what I found is really trying to get an expressive kind of portrait, and then kind of really zooming in on that. And also what I found with the text was making sure that it's as short as possible. So I think sometimes people really, they want to put two sentences in, but what you want to do is like a couple words max. And a lot of the time it should feed off of the title. So actually, and thumbnails are so, so important, because if they don't click, it doesn't matter. You spend, hours and hours on a video and they don't even click. And I've had to with some like rework the thumbnails, and I think I've also learned, like, if I can't see the thumbnail now, like I really, when I'm writing the script and everything, I think of the thumbnail first, and like kind of seeing what I want to say. Because if you can't present it in a way, if you can't package it, then you're not going to get any viewers. And it's really important to know, what you're making, and really structuring it in a way that then you can entice people to go along on the journey and watch the video. So I definitely say, really strong imagery, close up spatials if you're using people, shorts kind of titles on the actual thumbnail, and then of course making sure that the full title is something that's captivating. Like a lot of the time, people don't think of what someone will click on, and they maybe do it too factually or something. So you need to really make it something that will entice them in a way that's also. I know people do a lot of clickbaity stuff, but I think it's better to still be authentic and not do that. But of course, make it in a way that's more persuasive. So I would always say persuasive over clickbait. Mm. I think it does become a bit of a loaded question in that it has more layers. So of course, number one is consistency, because if you don't make videos, what's the point? But how do you figure out what will make you consistent? And that is, of course, picking videos you truly care about. So it needs to be a topic that can sustain you and that you have the greater mission. Because if you're making something just because it's really, really hard, I mean, you're making, so much time dedicated to this, so it really needs to be something that you're not doing for views, because it takes so long to actually get any views, any audience. And also, I've noticed, because I've sort of changed my niche, changed my style, and it's very important that it comes through when you're truly passionate about what you're making, because then you're excited, you're thinking about creative ways to kind of explore and explain the topic. But if you don't care that much, it's not going to come across. And so for me, I'm really passionate about just kind of continuing and learning. And the why I decided also to go with the video essays in this style is because with every video I learn something. I'm honing in on my skills of writing and then also the editing and everything, putting it together. So I didn't want to make something where you're just kind of making a video, but it didn't actually take you that much effort, or you didn't challenge yourself. And I think if you're already going to spend so many hours, it really needs to be something that you feel like, okay, wow, I'm actually growing as a person. And then, the views and all that will come eventually, but it's not even about that. For me, I'm excited that I made the video, and at the end of the day, that I'm proud of it. Because I think also when I started, and, you kind of make stuff because you want to follow some trends or something. But then I was like, whoa, I'm not even super proud of what I made. Like, I didn't really learn anything with some of the earlier that I think I ended up unlisting, because I was like, oh, I don't really want that out there. And then now I'm very much like, okay, what is first, what can help other people? What is something I'll learn about? And what is will be like exciting creative content to share?